Sudumela, welcome to The Voice with me, Palisa. Remember, this is a show for you, by you, with you, giving you a chance to tell your story. This is a comfort space for you. This is a space where you can just talk about anything, cry, laugh, do whatever. But hey, this is a space for you. This is your voice. This is where you get your power, the power to speak out and to have a voice. And just like you said, I saw somebody on the comments said, Sis Palisa, why don't you bring actors, to talk about, this industry? Like, hey, of course, I heard you. And of course, now I'm delivering. And guess who I have today? The one and the only, the legendary Glenn Kabela. Glenn Kabela.
Ma'am.
I'm so honored. Like I've known you for about, I think, 3 decades ago.
Exactly.
But now you're here on The Voice.
Wow.
Pagati inside.
Wow.
I feel like kissing you.
I'll kiss you back. There it is. Wow.
Finally, you kissing me.
Finally.
Not on camera, but
Not
for
on
real.
camera, for real.
Yeah. Well, Glenn Kabela, I'm honored to have you here. Most of the youngsters, I don't know, they probably know you on some of the maybe series they're seeing you lately, but they don't know. You have been in this industry for over 3, 4, 5 decades.
Wow.
So maybe I want you to introduce yourself and maybe tell our viewers on The Voice who is Glenn Kabela.
Okay, Glenn Kabela. Angazi. But anyway, because of like the amount of work I've done over the years, like I'm using different names, what I'm saying? So like use whatever name you're comfortable with, okay? But the real name, Glenn Kabela, okay? And this whole craziness, even before I knew that I belonged, in the industry, okay? How so? I remember when I was growing up, I used to go watch movies, almost every weekend I was at a movie house, right? And then when I grew up, I played soccer, I was a goalkeeper. You don't even know, it's easy to talk about Glenn Kabela. I actually was a goalkeeper for an amateur club, yes, in Rockville, called Western Rangers.
Okay.
Fine. So the owner of Western Rangers, Umudana Shabalal, okay? Ubabwake was owner of A2 Cinema. And every Saturday, we had a pleasure of attending, watching whatever movie we wanted to, right? So every Saturday, I was at the movie house. And what would happen, because we used to watch movies such as the Gladiator movies, you know what I'm saying? What Samson, what Hercules and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And we had lead actors like Kirk Douglas, Michael Douglas' father, right? And Kirk Douglas, how craziness started, right, with me. Kirk Douglas, right, had a dimpled chin, okay? A dimpled chin like so, okay? And I would act out after having watched the movie, okay? Get home, get into my room, and tie the sellotape, and then I would tape this whole thing. Then I would be Kirk Douglas. Then I would act out. So I think that's when I was not aware of it, right? But I think it's when a seed was planted. Me linking, hooking up to performing, to acting as such. But now the real deal started when I was in secondary school, Mlapo secondary school, right?
Okay. That's where my mom taught, right? My mom was a teacher.
Oh yeah, yes. Oh yeah. Okay. Wow. When I saw that there is a coincidence between me and now.
All the way from Rockville.
Yes. Okay, so I was there in Mlapo Secondary, and the class teacher, probably she saw something in me, which I couldn't, right? And she selected me for a play episode at the end of the year, right? To entertain a good graduation year, right? To entertain the parents and friends and the people who would be attending, right? And she chose for me to play a part from William Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. Okay? And the character was Malvolio. where I was wearing yellow stocking, because like in Texas play, Malvolio was a yellow stocking, right? And on the day graduation, everybody was there, my mom, everybody was there and stuff, right? And we performed, and people went like crazy. Malvolio, I'd never acted before, never. It was the first time ever, right? But at the end of the whole ceremony, other groups, right? Now, maybe like the Shakespeare, things. Because like we used to do set books that we were using in school, right? And everybody was clamoring for Malvolio, and I cast and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it started there, but still. I was ignorant of the fact that, you know what I'm saying, I'm capable, because like my mom had been a sister at Barra, right? So I think growing up, what was drummed subconsciously into my mind was medicine. So I actually was looking forward to taking up in medicine. I wanted to become a medical practitioner.
Oh, wow.
Right. So it went up until when time came for me to attend the tertiary, to attend med school, Everett, right? I had one parent, all right? I never knew my dad anyway, all my life, right? So the only parent I knew was my mom. So mom didn't have like the power to take me through tertiary, okay? And what clicked in my brain was, I said, okay, maybe let me hold back on my medical studies for now, okay? Let me try and find work. Then I'll go back to my studies, right? And even back then, we knew that there's so much money in acting. So I think acting was the automatic choice. That's how I ended up in this industry, right? But how I knew I would be capable, of being where I am today, I never knew. Okay, up until a friend of mine, Umendi Mankazan, she used to live next to my place, because in Rockville, because I grew up in Rockville, right? So she rocks up at my place, hey Glenn, let's go now audition SABC. Right, audition, why was you noticing? Come, you someone else speak about me, right? Now, SABC back then was still a Commissioner Street in town before we relocated to Auckland Park, right? That was in the late 70s, early 80s actually, in the 80s. I see figure at the SABC, there was like auditions, first time going to audition, but then I had been, prior to me pursuing it into acting, I was very active growing up. I did boxing. Okay. Up until such time, Mama felt that not boxing, not going to damage your brain. You know what I'm saying? So I had so much energy. I had to find an outlet, right? So when I dropped boxing, I had to find another activity, which was when I discovered bodybuilding.
Okay.
Right. And then I started lifting weights.
Because I remember that time, Bula.
Yes, please. Like so.
Okay.
Yeah, inside there, like circle.
Okay. Let me not blush, like I'm gonna hold myself.
Please do. Okay. So I took up in bodybuilding, and that's when we attended again this audition. They were looking for a lead character, right? I'd never acted before, mind you, right? They were looking for a lead character who was a boxer, very temperamental boxer. I had a temper. Trust you, believe you me, I had a temper for the world, right? The only person who could handle me was mom, right? You're being temperamental, because I think it was because of all this energy, you know what I'm saying, like running through my brain, my veins, right? So, I fitted into the breakdown your character. Boxer, temperamental, right? So as soon as I walked inside the studio, right, there was this, I was even 6'1", in feet and inches. Yeah, I was 6'1", very tall.
Very tall.
Tall and there, plus the boxing skills. That's how I got the part.
Oh, wow.
I got the part, right? But then there was this old man who used to work for SABC. Old man, double actors. Back then, because like I'm a drama were too back then, yeah? Believe it or not, they were written in the main by Afrikaners.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
African-speaking people would write drama as TV1.
And then they would get translators.
Then they would get translators. Then they would have a language advisor as well on set.
Oh yeah, I remember back then also when you started, they would always, allocate the language advisor.
To be there to correct you, what I'm saying, on the spelling, on the pronunciation and stuff like that. But then like, Tabla played a very, very, very crucial role, in molding me. Because number one, he taught me how to deliver my lines without sounding like I'm reading a script. Okay, because there's different ways. I mean, like when you read, you don't necessarily pronounce words as you speak. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so he taught me how to pronounce dialogue. Right, but it was during the shooting of that, because it was a short film, right? During the shooting of that film, I remember it was a Tuesday on the day, right? And we were preparing for a scene where my character, right, was in the gym. Like the punch bag. Right? I was sweating. Sweat was like just draping down my body. Right? It so happened, because like we're shooting inside the studio, it so happened that the late Bill Foray, a director of Shaka Zulu, just so happened to be walking past the studio.
Wow.
Where we were shooting, okay? And he was attracted by the activity. Apparently, Bill Foray peeped in, and that girl, right, he saw the activity, Next thing, we still were rehearsing. Next thing, I see walking out of the studio. Can you address Bill Foray? Now, Bill Foray was in effect booking me for a screen test.
Okay.
So at the end of the shoot, Teresa comes to me, Kabela, for a screen test. Screen test, I wonder, is he screen test? I'm telling you know what I'm saying? And it turns out there had been a search for months on end. I think the last time I remember, Bebe Funabe Kasa Shaka Zulu, the intermediate, the teenage Shaka, right? It had been a period of over 7 months long. I mean, the production had the search for Ushaka, like Henry had already been earmarked as he was going to play the Shaka Zulu, right? And then his son Ukumlani was going to play the younger Shaka. Okay. Now, this middle Shaka, the teenage one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And turns out they searched the entire continent, African continent. Wow. They could not, because they wanted to find someone who'd match. Yeah, physically and otherwise.
Yeah, remember Henry was tall, dark, and now you're tall and tough.
And there.
I remember that. Like, can you believe it? Even now, like I always like go back to. Wow. I think it's on Netflix now. And then when I watched, I'm like, hey, there's Glenn Kabela. I've always known you to be, the Shaka. But then back in the days, like you said, you're in Brookville. Back in the days, Tina we acting, and I would see you. Maybe driving around in a and I said, but wow. You would never look at me at that time. You were the Glenn Kabela, you were, the Shaka, tough and tall. Remember your slap?
I remember the blue one. The blue,
I remember you from that.
Wow.
Oh, wow, man. Wow. This is exciting. I'm speaking to the real Shaka Zulu. But then now I want to understand, Shaka Zulu, that first one, it's still the Shaka. You know, the other Shagas can come, you can call it Shaka this, Shaka that, but that Shaka is still, you know, the main Shaka. You know, how was it like, you know, in that production and with the actors? You know, I know Bobo Kenkambu was also there as well. You know,
Mabunu Sabela, the late Mabunu Sabela. You know, and they, apart from our local, you know, big names, we had international, you know, actors. Fox, what's his name again? We had some British actors with some American actors, you know what I'm saying, on set. It was huge. That thing was international, actually, you know what I'm saying. Much as it had been set for TV, né? But it released, it was released like internationally, right? So everybody in the world, throughout the world, everybody saw Shaka Zulu. And listen to this one, but don't laugh now. because somehow the director, Upil Fore, convinced me that the process of transforming from a boy to a man. Okay? Now, according to Upil Fore, Shaka Zulu had to, during the entire scene, since the baby getting involved, go right. Shaka Zulu had to be naked, as in stark, raving naked. And I was like, oh, I think you people. No, don't worry. Don't laugh.
I'm trying not to laugh.
I think it is. Don't worry. We'll shoot it artistically. Okay, we won't reveal what doesn't need to be revealed. Okay. So in front, I'd like baby how. So like, you know, cover at the frontal, you know, with my shield. Okay, but like the rear is exposed. So each time I gave my back to the camera, there it was.
Oh my goodness.
And listen, audiences, right? International audiences from overseas. They would like, you know, because I was on Facebook even then. They would like, you know, post on Facebook.
Oh my
and
goodness.
Everybody was about that bum.
So everybody saw your bum.
The bum.
But it was a perfect bum.
It was tight.
Like it was tight.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Wow.
Okay, do that, Shaka Zulu.
But it was a wonderful experience. It was a wonderful. I mean, remember, this was my second attempt in doing that scene, because it was called Ivume Wet, where Upil Fore spotted me, and then I didn't even audition, because like we're going to screen test that Upil Fore invited me, right, on the Thursday. They painted me, because like, remember, her hand was like very dark, right?
Yeah.
Like say yellow bone, so they had to paint me black. So as to match skin tone, skin coloring.
Yeah.
No, and believe you me, when they brought a mirror in front of me, I was like, wow, there's Hendrik. I saw Hendrik.
Yeah.
It was so amazing. It was so amazing. You know what I'm saying? So, when I got to set, we got on very, very, very well. No,
Yeah.
Right?
It was a big cast, I remember.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nabo. Hey man, it's just that. Yeah, my brain is like, you know, giving up.
So what are the good memories you have, you know, about that production? You know, like, you know, with all the stars, the international.
Yeah. You know. The first thing I remember, because it was the first time I was flying.
Sure, yeah.
First time the company booked me an aeroplane in Jan Smuts. It was still Jan Smuts Airport back then, right? And I flew for the first time, fire in the air in this machine, right? When I landed in Natal, right? There was an Indian guy, a driver, who was my chauffeur. So I was chauffeur driven to this 5-star hotel. Now imagine being flown by the company, having a chauffeur to drive you around, being accommodated in a 5-star hotel, right? And because like it went on for like 13 months in Shutiakon, although like me and Henry would alternating, right? So for the entire time I was with Shaka Zulu, wow, it was something out of this world. It was something out of this world, you know.
You just mentioned something, you know, to say at that time, like you were flown, you were being chauffeured and everything. I just want to understand, you know, compared to now, especially, you know, how the actors are being treated now, you know, with these productions, you know, the productions that we are having now compared to the old productions, you know. I mean, I don't know how much we're getting paid by then, but I think I would like to think that at that time, obviously, that money, was it good for you, and did it make you happy compared to the productions now, the way they treat actors?
Yeah, it's a sad story. It's a sad story, you know, because for some of us it's a regression, you know what I'm saying? It's like we've gone backwards, you know. Okay, the money, let's start with the money issue. There was not that much money, believe you me. There wasn't much money. I mean, I remember this thing, the first one, I think I was getting 200 rand, 200 rand a call, you know. But 200 rand in the 80s, okay, I was fresh out of school still, you know what I'm saying, and I was on set almost every day. So with 200 rand in 5 days would accumulate, you know what I'm saying, to 200 times 5, you know what I'm saying, which was something.
1,000 rands per week. Yeah, but at that time.
At that time, you know what I'm saying, So, but even when I got engaged to Shaka Zulu, okay, Shaka Zulu, anyway now in a painful memory, which we'll get into. Because I was cast after Hendrik had been confirmed, right? So my pay had to be on the same scale. You know, like we're sharing the same role, okay? And what I was told back then, in the 80s, was 1988, I remember, right? When I did Ushaka. What I was promised, because remember I was still new in the industry. I didn't even know like there was some agencies and contracts and everything else, right? So I was freelancing. And after having been flown to a KZN in Natal, when I arrived, the production, the execs called me into the office and they made an offer, okay, to the effect that Hendrik would be getting 40,000 rand. But in 40,000 rand, they were calculating it, you know, as a universal fee, not on a per call, meaning then that 40,000 for the entire stint. Okay, and I was looking okay, but I never had even 5,000 in my account back then. So 40,000, okay, no biggie. You know what I'm saying, I accepted, but it was a verbal arrangement. It was a verbal agreement, and to this day, there were hard lessons learned, you know, like in the process. Believe you me. Well, 40,000 that I was promised, okay? At the end of my stint, the last day of my shoot, I get called to the office, right? I'm going to get my check, because like we niggas on my check back then, right? And all right, the check book was there. The exact we are address that it was a Friday, right? And the Friday, there was going to be a break, weekend break. So some of the crew were going to be driving back to Joburg, you know, to be with family in a bus. And I'm told in no uncertain terms that, Glenn, there's a bus going back to Joburg in a crew. So if you can pack your bags and get a bus in. And I was like, okay, well, what about the flying? What about the flying? You guys have been flying me all over the place. Now I'm done. Now you throw me, you know, in a bus, and I'm supposed to go and pack now because like the buses will be leaving soon. Come on, guys. You know what I'm saying? I tried fighting, and I was told that okay, if you don't get into that bus, you're on your own. That's how cruel this industry can be. It's how cruel industry, and
like they can take you up there, you're famous, and then when they wanna drop you,
they drop you just like that.
Just like that. They don't care. They've made money with you. Your face is there. They've shot with you, and then that's it. Now you're on your own.
Now, what happened to the 40,000 that was offered? Boom, check, boom, 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 sign, boom. I'm given a check. This check reads 7,000 rand.
Yep.
all I earned go Shaka Zulu was 7,000 rand. Big as Shaka Zulu was, 7,000 rand in total.
Did they calculate it per call or what?
I don't know what happened because like there was so much expenditure during the shoot. I think I remember the time like my Mercedes, like the big Mercedes, you know what I'm saying, stuff, and everybody was like, you know, driving my Mercedes Benz. So the monies that were supposed to receive, right, were the monies that they squandered on the money, on the cars.
But then you know what's sad? What's sad is that even to date, on Netflix, Shaka Zulu is still on. Like I said, about just last month, I just opened Netflix, and then when I was watching Shaka Zulu, and I'm like, hey, there's Glenn Gabella, and to me, you know, you're a star. Outside to people, you're a star, and people still recognize you even then. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, fine. What happens now? Do they call back the actors that used to act in that big production to say, here we are, guys, we are repeating Shaka Zulu on a certain channel. Can you come and, you know, invoice or anything? No call or nothing?
Nothing. No royalties, no nothing. Nothing. That's the state of affairs of our industry in South Africa. No royalties. And now you tell me how many other repeats, all right, apart from my ones, right? How many other repeats have you seen on our screens, right? Bovelap have been replayed. Zinway have been rerun, you know what I'm saying? Not a cent that comes out and goes to those actors, you know?
You know, talking about that, right? Let me just personalize it as well. There was another TV show that I also shot, Pamukate.
Right.
And I also realized from 2020 onwards that SABC kept on repeating
yes.
it. And then to my surprise, I'm like, no, I went to SABC myself to demand, you know, my money for it. And then the funny thing is, like, when they told me to invoice, at first they wanted so many documents. They wanted the certified documents of this. They wanted the proof of, you know, my contract. I'm like, I shot that film maybe about 2 decades ago. Where am I going to get the contract?
Exactly.
Those production houses are not even existing anymore. You know, and then I had to go and do an affidavit to say, now you're going to pay me. But the funny thing is, even on that payment, they even wanted to pay half of it.
Oh, no.
And the sad part is, like, okay, fine, at least I'm still alive. I'm still alive. I'm fighting, you know, to be paid. But then what about those that have passed on? Bossem Phillips. Bossem Phillips in the way, in the Pamukate, she has passed on. A lot of, you know, all the other actors that were there, that have passed on, who's gonna fight for them? You know what I mean? So I'm like, this is just so, this industry just makes me sick, basically, you know. And when you talk, then you get what?
You get blacklisted.
You get blacklisted.
Yes.
And nobody wants to touch you anymore, because they are the people now that are making decisions with your name, with your life. And that time when now you are there, they're not even calling you to find out if whether are you eating, are you living okay at that time, but they will keep on throwing the repeats. The repeats. Hey.
I'll make another practical example. Zolil. There's this one called Zolil. It's also on 16416. I'm not sure. It's been repeated over and over. We did that thing about like 3-4 years ago. Not a cent. I'm not receiving not even a cent out of that thing. And as you rightfully say, all right, I go to claim. Where am I going to get all the documents? You know what I'm saying, that date back to when we shot that thing?
And it's playing on TV right now. People are watching TV every day. They are singing up Glenn Gabella, but that time they are not paying for the repeats.
And people outside like reckon as soon as they see you on the screen, wow, money rolling in. What money rolling in? What money?
And they want selfies and they want autographs.
I remember there's another friend of mine who interviewed me as well, right? And I was in Hammanskraal. I was a friend in Hammanskraal that I visited. Spent a couple of days over there. This guy, now, right, he opens up, like, set up this podcast thing, right? Then he invites me, you know, for an interview. And I discovered then that even the previous time when I was visiting the friend Yamne, after I had left, there were talks and questions, celebrity, Maragana ne moto. 7 months, 2 years, no work. When you get the money goes out, you know what I'm saying? So we don't even have incentives. For example, medical aid. You know what I'm saying? We don't qualify for houses. We don't qualify to buy cars. We don't qualify for credit anyway, right? So
there's no income.
There's no income. There's no constant income. Right? So when you receive the little money, you have to spend it on your needs, on your personal needs, right? Because there are wants and there are needs. For me, I still believe a car is a want, you know what I'm saying? I would like to have a car. I want a car, you know what I mean? It's not a need right now, right? There are things that press me, you know what I'm saying? My survival, the survival of my daughter, which is another case, very hurtful case, you know what I'm saying? But we'll get into it as well. So I have things, you know what I'm saying, that need my immediate financial attention. Okay, so I can buy a car, and I always say to people, I can buy easy. Maybe first payment, I buy my car, but now the question is, will I be able to keep that car on the road? Because the car is costly. You know what I'm saying? I need spare parts. I need petrol. I need this and that to keep it on the road. Right. So if I'm out of work for 2 years, means that my car will be parked in the yard for the next 2 years, right? You know, so people need to understand. And well, now, okay, maybe that thing was directed towards me, right? And I did say that it's not only me. I am not the only actor who's in that predicament. There are lots of actors. Many. And some of them have spoken out. And where are they today? Blacklisted. Nobody wants to touch them.
When
for
you
speaking
speak out,
the truth.
you will
You're
not get,
truth.
you will not be employed.
Yes.
You will not be like, yeah.
No.
If you speak out, you're called a prima donna.
Yeah.
Speak out, you are being labeled, whatever.
You called names, eh?
You called names.
Yeah.
You are hard to work with. You're a prima donna, and they must not touch you. You know what I mean? So, and it's not only that. It's not only, but also, you know, when you have to go and negotiate your fee. I mean, you've been in this industry for over 3, 4, 5 decades, and then you would still, firstly, they would still want to audition. Now imagine auditioning the Glenn Gabella, who has worked with the Ken Gambus, with the Henry Kele. You know what I mean? And then you would want to put Glenn Gabella on a queue, the same, you know, queue, and with up and coming actors. How does that make you feel?
I don't attend auditions anymore. Anyway, I don't. Yes, I actually came to conclusion that probably if people see the poorness in me, okay, rather let me be poor, not working, than working and still be poor. Because that's what it is.
Famous and poor.
Yeah, famous and poor. Right now, fortunately, there are people who refer me. Right, I think I've got about 3 or 4 recently. Projects, right, which are films, whereby someone mentioned me, like put my name forth, right? Like, that. Fortunately, the people would have my telephone number, right? So I would be contacted by the production, and like, the whole process would be okay, fine, professionally, right? Just send a freelance guy your pic and stuff, you know, and we'll take it from there. Okay, now. Which I think it's the strategy that I am following, right? Because you look at the international scenario, okay? Internationally, when a writer starts like focusing, like creating a storyline, right? Especially for like their lead characters, they have an idea already who's going to be that lead actor, who's going to be the lead actress, okay? When the script reaches the producers already know. No. We know who will fit. I'm saying who will be the perfect, you know, actor for this role. And they call the person, right? Sit down with them. They discuss the project. They give them the script. They go read, and if the actor's ready, boom, let's work. That's my approach. Because I mean, over the years, I've worked with so many, you know, actors, right? So I know exactly because I'm writing now. I'm a writer as well. I write, I produce, I direct. So when I'm creating a story, already I'm thinking, all right, who is going to be my lead actor? Because at the end of the day, I'm going to call the relevant people, right, into a meeting. Boom, we sit, we discuss. I give them the script, they read, and then we work.
But you know, that was also one of the things that also pissed me off, you know. Now, I think it was about 2 years ago with another production as well, you know. They were writing the soapy, and when they were writing the soapy, already they knew who they wanted.
Who they want,
and yet they still wasted our time and called us to audition for that role. And you and it takes your time, your money, your energy, your reading script. You're already going to audition for that role, but yet they know already who they wanted. And the funny thing is, when we were sitting on that, you know, on that queue, you know, to be auditioned, yes, names were there, I was there, you know, there were other people as well, you know, in the industry that were there. The day we watched, we saw that soapy playing, that lead character that they chose, she was not part of our, you know, of those, the people that were auditioning. She was not there, so clearly they knew who they wanted, but they still wasted our time and called us to come and just appear on TV, you know what I mean? So that's also another sad part about this production, but then we don't have a say, you know.
But someone needs to do something, which is why I'm reckoning with my productions, you know. Like there are so many firsts that I want to achieve. So many firsts. Like the process of auditioning. I would never audition, you know, like my well-known actors. Why? Why should I? You know what I'm saying? Probably I would like to see those that will be featured that I've never seen before, right? Just to have an idea. But with the projects that I'm sharing now, right? Because I'm based more in KZN currently. There's a movie, a film I'll be shooting in KZN. Okay, so apart from shooting movies, shooting films, because my focus is mainly on film. Okay, I'll tell you the reason why. I do classes. I do workshops. Okay, I train performers, right? I skill my writers in the art of writing, right? Which is what I hinted at earlier, that initially I used to focus only on working on performers and actors, okay? But now down the line, I realized, okay, fine, I'm training these people, okay? Getting them ready for my roles, okay? But now, after having trained them, after me having parted with the information, the skills, right? Will that guarantee them work? Right? Meaning then they would be like our students who have gone to tertiary and, like, you know, have degrees and masters, and they have a piece of paper but no work. You see now, so my focus is switched around, and I'm now focusing on my writers. I'm skilling my writers, because I'm reckoning the more writers we have, then more work can be created. So like I'm balancing like both sides now, right? So and from the artists, like when I run my workshop, I sort of like try to identify, you know, your strong points, whether you belong, because like, not all of us, unfortunately, most unfortunately, not all of us can be actors. Not all of us can be, and that's one that I stress even on the opening of my sessions, right? I always make to tell them that out of maybe like a group of 60, only 2 maybe out of 60 might be able to be, because like it's departments behind the scenes that are not mentioned, that people are not aware of. There's makeup, there's wardrobe, there's set designing, there's props masters, you know what I'm saying, there's writers, there's a sound, you know, people, you know what I'm saying. So probably you may not necessarily have the gift, because acting, performing is a gift. You are born with that gift. Okay, which is why I say what I'm doing, I'm actually exercising the gift. I'm acting out the gift that God blessed me with. Okay, nobody can teach you acting. There's this trend of film school, and I always say to people, it's not that maybe I'm discouraging people, or I'm knocking down or speaking down upon like the establishments, you know, such as, right? But what can film school teach you as an actor? You know?
Exactly.
Because if you don't have the natural gift, you'll never become one. You'll never become an actor, right? Right. Probably film school might open up like other departments as I've just listed, right? Maybe you're fashionista, you're well dressed and stuff. Now, can't you look maybe at like maybe you could be in the wardrobe department? You could be dressing my actors, right? If you're good looking, you can make yourself, and maybe like you belong in the makeup department. You know what I'm saying? Try that. So I open up like all those opportunities when I run my workshop.
But then now tell me, the workshops that you're running, Kabela, who funds them, or how do you sustain them? Because clearly it's not only your time, but I'm sure, you know what I mean, it needs to be, like some funding, or like how do you manage with it? And giving these kids or these upcoming, the hope that yes, after this we're gonna go out there and get, work.
Yeah, it takes me back to the want and the need. Remember, like the need, the work. So I use whatever little resources I have out of my own pocket to run those. Because I've approached people, putting forth a proposal such that, okay, especially business, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm reckoning we need business on board, you know what I'm saying? Filmmaking is very expensive, very, very expensive. So we need the funding, okay? Now, it takes an effort to explain to a businessman, how to come on board. Because number one, the first question that maybe a business person will want to know, right, what's in it for me?
What's in it for me?
Right? Okay.
Investment,
okay. If I have an answer for that, okay, when will I be receiving my investment back? Because he talks, his language is money. Okay. Now, you need to convince the business person of like what they will get out of being a part of, and what they will get in return as their investment. You know what I'm saying? Investment back, which takes me now back to, remember like when I said I'm focusing mainly on my films, right? Because for me, television, for me, my drama and my soapies, they're well and good, you know what I'm saying? But like, I see them as like limited in as far as, you know what I'm saying, the financing, the finances, okay? Because how much of free budget will you get from a broadcaster, okay? Now, it's a challenge to be an independent filmmaker like me and be dependent on funding, like resources from outside, the sponsorships, the funding and stuff, you know what I'm saying? It's very challenging, but if you can nail it, okay, which is how I always convince like my potential funders, right? Such like, number one, if you come on board, your say like your business is known, but now when this film is now produced, okay, on what are these the names, I mean, like, that come out of my credits, right? Credits. On the opening credits, your name will appear there, right? Because you helped make this production possible. Okay, you put money, you invested your money in it, right? So the credit that you're going to get there is as an executive producer. So your business world, your scope as a businessman grows immediately, because now people will link you to like a filmmaking, and if it's like, as I'm saying, international, like I'm looking at the international scenario, right? So your name will be appearing internationally, on my film, okay? And then when I distribute, when I start selling the movie, okay, I'll be distributing internationally, worldwide. I'll be distributing to America, to the UK, to Asia, to Europe, right? So, and in revenue that you'll be getting will be guided by the area. When you sell to America, you get dollars. When you sell to the UK, you get pounds. When you sell to Europe, you get euros, right? And how strong is the dollar against the rand today? How strong is the dollar against the pound today? And I'm saying, so I always try to teach people, especially like young up-and-coming independent filmmakers, that there is the business side of filmmaking. We're in this for business, for making money, truth be told. Right? Now, if you can convince your potential funder that once your film is distributed, right, you'll be getting about dollars, right? Say, for example, they invested, I think like maybe $500,000, 500,000, okay? You sell your film and you rake in, let's say, for example, $20 million. Convert $20 million into rand. How much is that? Already your investment is back, right? You sell to the UK, 20 million pounds. You know, what does 20 million pounds translate to in rand? You know what I'm saying? So that's the advantage that I saw, you know, in focusing on the film industry, on film, rather than drama. Okay.
And now looking at it, another issue is when you look at especially the channels, when they give production houses work, it is mostly or most of the time mainly the same production houses that will, you know, be given, that will be commissioned. What do you have to say about it? Do you also have, you know, such challenges to say, or is it about who knows who, or how does it work? Because if you can see, then you'll get probably a certain production that will get season 1 and season 2, season 3. Yet there are so many proposals that get in. You know what I mean? How can we maybe come out as actors, or maybe even those like yourself that are only maybe production houses, or to say, what can we say to them to say, you know what, hey, we are also here. You know?
Yeah, it's still a challenge. It's still a challenge. But I think it goes back to like this tendering thing. It's the same as tendering. You know what I'm saying? You develop special people. You know what I'm saying? That you'll hook up with, you know what I'm saying? Because like it's all about like what's in it for me. You know what I'm saying?
It's always like what's in it for me.
Right. Yeah. So a person like me, it's very difficult because you know like I mean I've always believed in doing the right thing, the right way. You know what I'm saying? I don't like cutting corners. You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't thrive on favors. Because now, if I'm going to ask a favor from you, right, in return, I'm going to have to return the favor, right? So involvement, yeah, I mean now we're moving forward is going to be favor after favor, favor after favor. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't get me anywhere. It doesn't get me anywhere. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'd like if you judge me, you know. For my worth. Judge me for my worth. You know what I'm saying? If my work is supposed to, so be it. You know what I'm saying? If not, boom, let's not work. So I'm not ready enough for endearing myself to a broadcaster just because. You know what I'm saying? My work, I want for my work to speak for me. Okay? Accept my work for what it is. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, as I'm saying, I'm still working out of my own pocket. Even like the project I'm doing in KZN, I'm still waiting for the people I engage, right, to bring to collect funding. You know what I'm saying? Because it depends on like how much they brought together, right? Yeah. So yeah, it's a challenge. And you know, earlier you touched on the monotony of like these new, you know, production companies, production houses, right? Who promote their peers, right? What I mean is that some of us, legendary actors, we're no longer considered. We don't get work, right? We don't get work, right? Seemingly, apparently so, I don't know, but seemingly because like we are expensive. But come on. Come on, experience is not
What
cheap.
is expensive out of a 3, 4, 5 million budget that you have?
Come on
you
now.
know what I mean?
And
Because even in that experience, production houses like producers and executive producers are the ones that are affording big cars. When as an actor, you don't even have a car. All you just need is that to be paid what you are worth. Right. What was the last production that you were in, and for how long was it?
No, I'm now accepting bit parts, you know what I'm saying, like cameo appearances, because of my commitment now to my own work, right? So recently, I've just finished doing, I was on a stint, My Brother's Keeper. Yeah, I worked with them in April of last year, when my character was introduced, you know, into the storyline. And then there was like this major gap, nothing happening up until I was called, you know, in January, this January, for the scene of my sister's funeral. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah.
So, like, how do you survive now as an actor with that cameo role? You know, and then you
tough.
stay the whole year. The whole year they're not calling you, and then they call you again after a year to say come in.
It's tough. It's tough. Right now, what the man says is that we expose the man. How old I am. Okay. You know, yeah, no, I'm surviving. I mean, now on a grant. Yeah, believe it or not.
Do actors get grants as well? Because I thought I was speaking to Joyce Skefu the other day, and then she was telling me that, you know, the sad part is she went to apply for an old age grant, I think, like that, and then she was told that no, she doesn't qualify. I'm like, how does it work? Does it mean like if I'm an actor and then I get to probably my 60s or 70s, when I apply for a grant, I'm not going to be able to get it? Like, why are we not?
How does it work?
How does it work? Yeah. You know?
Because I was approved, mine was approved, my application was approved. My application was approved, and that's how I live from day to day. You know?
And you were also on Uzalo. You know, what happened and where, you know? Because I remember at Uzalo you played Pastor Mdletshe, right? And people loved the character. People loved the pastor. So now all of a sudden, how long were you there? Because now all of a sudden, boom! Now Pastor Mdletshe is no longer there. What happened there?
Oh, what happened? What a disaster! What a disaster! You know, it's all that you know what I'm saying, and I love moving forward. Okay, I love moving forward. I don't like holding grudges or anything like that. But the sad part with Pastor Mdletshe is that up till this day, a band are still like clamoring. They're still calling out Pastor Mdletsche. You know what I'm saying? Because like I think it was a short-sightedness on the side of my producers. They did not see what they have. You know what I'm saying? Not only Ankulumeli Mina just because, you know what I'm saying, there were others, you know what I'm saying, that were also dismissed, you know, together with me. Right? But people are still crazy. People still want to pass some Mdletsche. No, it's not up to me, number one. It's not up to me, you know what I'm saying? Plus, I've moved on. Right? Now, the sad part is that when I was initially invited, was one of the productions where I never even went for auditions, okay? I got a phone call. I was typing away, like, in my office at home and stuff, and the phone comes through. All right, Yibo. They wanted to know how busy I was. Okay, that was in 2016. No, okay, I'm open. All right, we'll send you a ticket. Okay, they sent me a ticket, but like the engagement, no Zalo, was such that the agreement, the signed contract, stated that Pastor Mdletsche is going to be one of the permanent cast members. Permanent cast members. Okay. Of which the contract is renewable, like at the end of each season, right? But specifically just to ascertain that you'll be available. Okay. Now, I started to work end of 2016, 2017. It was season 3 up until season 4. At the end of season 4, when I get called to the office, okay, with the hope that, all right, it's an extension, yes. Okay, as per agreement. And when I walk into the office, this lady, I told him, Baba, I have bad news. with my, character, bad news, what bad news? I don't like bad news. I call my good news, calling my bad news, and my good news, no, and when she asked me what in pants, then I knew this was serious, right? And first words that come out of her mouth was, Baba, we're sorry. And I was like, wow. What does that mean? You know what I'm saying?
Just like that.
Yeah. I like pointing a finger at me first before I point fingers at someone, right?
Have I done something?
Yeah, is it something I did? Something maybe like you contact the army?
Something
come
later?
Yeah. I think no, you're professional. I mean, we never had, not once, not one day, we had a problem with you. And so, what gives? But no, the writers, they claim that they've run out of ideas.
Wow.
And it's like, come on now.
So now your job is dependent on the writers. If writers are not able to do their job, or they are not creative enough to grow the character or to shape the character, you suffer.
Yeah. And that was the question that I asked in retrospect, that, how does it work that someone that the company hired to create fails, and they don't get fired, but I do? How does that work? I couldn't understand. Even today I vowed, in fact, after that, I vowed never, ever, I don't care even if I would never, ever work with them. Right?
And the executive producers can't do anything or say anything, because now this is not only, this is your life, this is your...
it messed up my life. When
famous, Kabela, you are out there, everybody knows you.
When they breached that contract, my life was, all the way. Number one, my bank froze all of my accounts, right? The car I had that I bought, I'd taken it from West Bank, right? A loan from West Bank to buy the car. The car was repossessed. My apartment, was locked. Everything I had was locked up, right? My daughter, last time I saw my daughter was in 2018. Because the mother of my child, from whom I was divorced, right? I used to send money every month. I used to send money, okay, for the upkeep of my daughter. When I lost that contract, she reckoned, okay, I want to put my terms and conditions, you know what I'm saying? So, forgetting those cool I haven't seen my daughter since 2018. I don't know what poison she put in my daughter's head, but my daughter does not want to see any part of me today. Sad part is the mother passed away without having fixed that. And people see me laughing, people see me happy, and people think, they reckon I'm happy. I'm not. I'm hurting inside. I don't even know what
How old is your daughter?
She turned 22 last year.
Was it maybe the finances that made her not to reach out? Or?
According to her, because I sent her a statement showing her, I explained to her my predicament. Right? And I was shocked. I was shocked when she it was the first time I defaulted. I'd never defaulted on my payments, right? And she reckons, terms and conditions. I couldn't understand what terms and conditions she's talking about. I couldn't understand.
When did her mother pass on?
Apparently 2019, so I heard. 2019. I wasn't even aware as well. There's a friend of mine, Utabiso. Utabiso is the one, because I relate, my pain to very few people. You know what I'm saying? People that I feel I can trust, right? Utabiso was one of those, and Utabiso is the one friend who tried his best to locate my daughter where she is. So apparently, with this lady who lives not far from where they are. Right, so like we are about to send a message, you know what I'm saying? So I heard, I think it was about 2 years down the line that my ex-wife had passed away.
And you were not contacted?
I was not contacted, nothing. And what pains me is, last time I saw, she was like 17, I'd gone for 18. And I was still with Uzalo then. I would take her to Maponya. So Uvusha knows how connected I was to her, you know what I'm saying? I bonded, I don't know Uvusha before she even bonded with her mother, because like Bengsala na, ngimsema clinic for my appointment work, you know what I'm saying? I bought her an Abba, I used to carry her, you know what I'm saying? I bonded, no, Uvusha, you know? And when she grew up, I mean, it was before we got into like my Kimbis and stuff. I mean, I started using napkin. I used to napkin. I learned how to napkin. I used to feed her all hours. I'll feed. You know what I'm saying? So and today you have males who are running away from being responsible. I wanted to be responsible for my daughter, but I was deprived by my ex-wife. I was deprived. I wanted to be there. She's the only child I have. She's my only, you know. So yeah, I hope people out there will get this message. I hope Uvuiswa, you know, gets this, because I want her to know how much she means to me. I don't know what her mother said about me to her, which made her not want to see me anymore. After all I was doing for her, I mean, she knows. Uvuiswa knows how attached to her I was. You know. But anyway, I've left everything in God's hands. God knows, you know what I'm saying, what's going to happen, you know. But I'm hoping, I'm praying and hoping, you know what I'm saying, for a positive result in the end. Because I'm all alone right now. And I'm always forever concerned what happens if something goes wrong with me, you know what I'm saying? Who's going to discover me? Because how are people going to know that I'm dead, you know what I'm saying? How are they going to get into the yard, you know? Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. As I'm saying, like they see you laughing and they take it for granted. You're having a great time. I'm not having a great time at all. I mean, my spirit is broken at all. I'm not going to tell a lie. My spirit is broken because, like, even everything I'm doing now, the projects I'm busy with, right? The investment for my daughter, I want for her to benefit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm way past, you know, like wanting things anymore. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I just want stability in my life. That's all I need. That's all I need. That's all I need.
Now, what message would you want to give to especially those mothers who are denying their fathers, the father of their children?
It's cruel. It's very cruel. It's a very cruel act, you know, because now you punishing ubaba umdwana ngumdwana. Especially if they are aware, like how attached mother and the father and child are, you know what I'm saying? Now that they are pawning, they're playing with emotions. Come on, I mean, let's move on, let's grow up, right? If things have a call for you to separate, you know, so I've always loved to still be a friend of my ex. Let's greet, you know what I'm saying? If I'm like in a mall, let's sit down for a cup of coffee, boom, talk, chat, and then we separate. I don't want enemies in my life, you know what I'm saying? Why create enemies? Why should we create enemies?
Separation was the result of you losing your job as an actor?
No. Separation initially was triggered by the fact that I was not gule scale, gule league that she was expecting, right? Because I remember we used to have, we had a house in which was a commune in Berea, okay, because I was one of Jehovah's Witnesses even back then, right? So we met in the congregation and we got married. So the house we were occupying was just opposite to the Kingdom Hall, okay? But then I'd left my family house, which now belonged to me at Rockville, where I grew up, okay? And then I had mom, also White City, where I live now, okay? And my reasoning with her was, I said, all right, since I have a house in Soweto, Rockville, since I have a home, and I've left mom all by herself, how about like we move back to Soweto, you know what I'm saying? Especially ngoba Rockville then ngathumela umalume to look after the house, okay? And then we moved in with mom. It was hardly 2 months, man. I saw it in my suburbs. And I was like, come on, didn't we talk about this? Namateksi, ngibela amateksi mangemsebenzini ngcono sithenga noma second hand. Are you aware that ufuna siyoyikhama manje ngendlu ye-bond, all right? Imali yakhona izaqhamuka kuphi? She was operating a coffee shop, right? Would your salary a coffee shop take care of that, right? We want us to buy a second-hand car, right? And I had, like, you know, indicated to her of like how inconsistent our environment is. You know what I'm saying? There won't be work all the time, right? Now, am I supposed to look up to you now to feed me, feed umntwana, fake imoto, petrol emoto, and ubhadale nathi? It wouldn't be fair. You know what I'm saying? Believe you me, how we separated on a Saturday morning, right? One Saturday morning, she wakes up, gets umntwana. Right, I was in the room, busy working, typing. Okay, Baba was saying, opposite, there was my public phones, right? It contained my public phones. She left about just after 8 in the morning on a Saturday, right? And I was busy. After say to Yasha, 9 Yasha, 10 Yasha, and then I crossed the street, my phone lab. She's nowhere to be found. She was nowhere. She only came back around 5 in the afternoon. When a party, she had a party. That's how she left. That's how my wife left. Because I could not afford a house, to give her a house in my suburbs. I could not buy a car. So I told her like the luxury, expecting, you know. So just an ordinary guy, you know what I'm saying, who, you know, and that was it.
People see actors on TV, they think, you're going to live a large, beautiful life, luxury life, but the industry
doesn't allow. The industry doesn't allow for that, which unfortunately for some. That's why I'm being open and honest, because like I know, whoever wants to blacklist me, so be it. Go for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not dependent on anybody anymore, right? I've got my own thing going now. I've got my own stuff going. I've got my own productions. I've got my own programs that I'm focusing on.
Any message maybe to the producers, maybe the executive producers, those that are making a decision about the lives of actors? Any message from Kabela?
Yeah. My fellow producers, because now I'm a producer now, my fellow producers, please let us give respect to our artists. We do not get the respect that we deserve to start with, right? I mean, I always say that if you cast me in your production, okay, I know you take it like maybe you're doing me a favor, okay, by hiring me. No. I take it I'm doing you a favor by availing myself to work with you, right? Because without talent, what do you have? A piece of paper, script. You don't have a production, right? So let us please give due respect to our artists' work, right? If during our negotiations, right, I require for you to pay me 7,000 a call. It's what I'm worth. It's what I'm worth, right? From the amount of money that you are going to make, 7,000 is not going to kill a production. I don't think so, you know. So let us pay our actors their due, right? Let's pay them what they deserve, because I believe a happy environment will produce results, right? I'm working at trying to secure maybe even 10 to 20 million, right? Because I want to pay my actors what they deserve. If I have to pay, if my company has to pay a local actor R1 million, I'm going to do that because that's what they deserve. My crew, I want my crew to be happy. Crew for me are the unsung heroes. Crew work, come on now, you know. They work, those guys, eh? But who recognizes them? We only see their names, and who actually even gives themselves time to read those names, you know? So those are my unsung heroes. You know, I want to make my crew happy as well. You know what I'm saying? Because like, as I'm saying, with a happy environment, fireworks. Fireworks. We're going to get there.
And any message to all those actors that are sitting there that are shy to come out, that are shy or scared to speak out? What message?
Yeah. Well, fortunately, I do understand their plight. I do understand their plight because like once they come out, they're going to be blacklisted, you know what I'm saying? And time like Bona, they don't have plan B, you know what I'm saying? They don't have anything to fall back onto, right? So my advice to especially all the veteran actors, right? Try and discover what you can do, what you can add into industry, because I think with all the skills that we have generated over the years, you know what I'm saying, I think we should now be able to do our own thing. You know what I'm saying? These youngsters are doing it. They are doing it for themselves. So why can't we do it? Why should we still go to them to ask for work? You know? Well, let's create. Let's create.
To the upcoming, those that want to be actors, those that want to join the industry.
It's a tough world. This industry is tough. It's a dog-eat-dog world, so they say. It's not easy. It's not easy. So you need resiliency. But first and foremost, the whole foundation should be about the passion. Be passionate. Be passionate about it, right? Because with passion, when you're still starting off, obviously, right, you'll be there financially or whatever, you know what I'm saying, but you'll slowly be working your way up, okay? But if you're passionate enough, I started with 200 Rand, but next time, after like, the predicament, then after I got Shaka Zulu, then I started getting 2,000 Rand a call. Then it was up to 3,000, to 5,000, to 7,000. I'm now at 9,000 per call. You know, so you work your way up. It's not easy. It's not, there's no automatic, transmission in this whole thing.
So lastly, Gabela, what scripture do you live with? What keeps you going? In like I believe in Christ, and I know that I've got scriptures that I always, like I always recite and I live with. So what scripture or mhlambe, just a hymn that keeps you going?
Yeah, I'll say I picked up one of my favorite gospel writers was John, the Apostle John, right? I've read his letters, even up to Revelation. But when I lost my mom in 2021, okay, mom was the only person I knew, right? Because I'd lost my grannies anyway prior, right? So it hit me. It hit me so hard. Believe you me, there were times when I was praying for God to take me as well, because I reckon I could not survive without mom. I couldn't, right? But even on the burial or on the day of her funeral, right, I was called, like my grandma and stuff. I was choking, but one scripture that I am fond of, because it gives me hope that I might still be with her in future, right? John, the book of John, chapter 5, verses 28 and 29. The one that reckons that those do not marvel at this, but those in the memorial tombs will hear his voice and come out. So there's a resurrection. Amen. My hope is the resurrection, because all our loved people, our beloved ones, right, who are lying in the graves today, right? There's hope that we might see them in future as a resurrection.
Amen. There is hope in resurrection indeed. As he rose, we rose with him. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm happy for you to be here with me. Spend all this hour with me. I really appreciate you. I respect you, and I honor you, and I wish you nothing but the best.
And I'm so grateful for you inviting me. Because it goes both ways. Like you invited me for me to be here. It was per invitation, right?
Of course.
And I feel honored as well to be here. I feel honored, and great job you're doing. Great job you're doing.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm supportive of you all the way. Masangila apa sen nama billion nama trillion. For ne, 20,000 million.
That was The Voice with me, Palesa. On this episode, I'd like to reach out to especially the Minister of Arts and Culture. Please, our artists are suffering. Our artists are poor and famous, and a lot of them, they do not want to come out and speak out. Right now our artists are dying with depression. Our artists are dying all alone, and most of the productions, they're not even recognizing, especially the veterans, because we are scared to come out. Please, can you come through? Make sure that this department that you are heading, you take care of our artists, you take care of us as artists. So this episode was brought to you by Mupandi Studios, all the way from Bryanston. Until next time, this simply says God bless you.